Hello everyone, we will continue the topic SAP ABAP new syntax, and we are covering the new features of Open SQL. And in the previous video, we discussed that we can use the literals now in the select list. So we took the requirement. Based upon that requirement, yes, I have shown you that how we can validate the user is authorized or not. The most benefit of the literals is without bringing that data on the application layer, we can check, yes, it is true or false. We can check entry exists or not. So what I will do, firstly, I will finish this part, then I will come on to the literals. So anyways, I will comment these two because we want to check either of these ways. So this is okay. Now I will go for which event now? Start of selection. You all know whenever you will click on to execute button, start of selection will trigger. Now on start of selection, we will simply fetch the data from VBAK table and display. Firstly, I will go for old way only, then we will completely change the program. So we are fetching data from VBAK table. We will display the data. This is already developed program. And so many times we have written the queries, loop statements. I will declare the internal table and work areas. This is LT data. I'll take suppose 4 columns. You can refer the previous 2 programs. We created already 2 programs, one for whenever we have the select list with the commas and whenever we used case. So you can copy paste from those programs. I will declare internal table, structure type, internal table, and work areas. I'm completely using the old way. I will take 4 columns only. Now internal table and work area. So what we are doing, we are firstly validate. Whenever we will go for enter or whenever we will click on to the execute button, add selection screen event will trigger. It will check user is valid or not. If user is not valid, it will give the error. If user is valid, it will go to start of selection event. It will fetch the data and it will display the data. We will understand each and everything in that debugging mode. So I will put a breakpoint first. I'm putting a breakpoint in start at selection screen event. Suppose I'm going for input, suppose 1 to 5. Suppose I'm pressing enter. You all know whenever you will put enter, at selection screen event will trigger. I will go to desktop 3, most preferable desktop. Now, based upon my username, R Mehta, it will check into this table. This Z user table is completely blank as of now. So whenever this query will execute, you can see size bars is other than 0 and I got the message. User is not authorized to run the program. Now suppose we are putting entry into this table. Suppose I will go for new entries. Suppose I am putting my username now, R Mehta. I am saving this. Now we will run the program again. I'm running this program. I will go for input 1 to 5. I will go to desktop 3, most preferable desktop. Now, add selection screen event will trigger. I'm doing F6. Now you can see entry is into this table, Z user. So I got one entry into this table, R Mehta. Now just see, are we using this internal table anywhere in this particular program? We are not at all using. Still, we are bringing data onto the application layer. Yes, to check, yes, user is valid or not. Now user is valid. Now start of selection event will trigger. It will fetch the data based upon the input and we are displaying the result. See, this internal table LT user is of no use at all. We blindly, or we can say we unused data, we bring the data onto the application layer, which is of no use at all. Now I am doing F8 and we got the output. Now, rather than bringing data onto the application layer, we can simply go for true and false result. And at that time, literals will help us. Now we will learn how we can write this particular query and how we can use literals. Literals are the most effective way to check the entry exists in the table or not without bringing that data onto the application layer. So how I can do that part? Now we will learn this. So now I'm writing. I will comment this. I will comment this also because now we will write everything through new syntax. I will comment this all declarations. Nothing is required. We will just go for this particular select option. Now we will see how to use literals. I will write select single. I'm using literal X. You all know capital X is what? True, true. Now I will go for writing that table. From which table? What is our table name? Table name is Z user, Z users. Now, I will simply go for into. You all know all host variables must be prefixed with @. I will go for inline declaration. Suppose I am simply writing LV underscore exists. You can give any name. It is totally your wish. Now I will give the where condition. Where what is the variable name? U name is equal to psi u name. Now I will check the syntax. Now the mistake, yes, we did the mistake. All host variables must be prefixed with @. Now I will check the syntax and I will write if psi sub rc not equal to 0, we will simply give the message. Now just see this particular effective use of the literal. Are you bringing anything onto the application layer? Nothing. We are not bringing anything on the application layer. It will just check. It will just check. It will check into this particular table. Yes, do we have true or not? If it is true, LV underscore exists will be true. If it is false, LV underscore exists will give the false result. So we can simply check. Now, I will go for the syntax check. And rest part also, I will go for new syntaxes. I will copy the query. I'll write. Anyways, we know You all know in the new syntaxes, these all must be separated by comma. Now, it should be prefixed with @ data. We will declare. This should be @. And now it should be, yes, LT underscore data sorry, data. By mistake, I put @ should be in the query. Now I will check the syntax and I will activate. Firstly, I will show you again if user is not maintained, if maintained. So I will remove the entry from the table. Firstly, I will go to SM30 transaction code. Now I will simply delete this entry. Yes, we'll go for save. Now I will put a breakpoint. We are using literal X true, which will check that true. Now I will simply run. We'll understand this query. Suppose I am giving the input 1 to 5. Now user is not maintained in that table. I will go for desktop 3, most preferable desktop. Now, what is my SAI uname? R Mehta. Uname R Mehta, it will check into this particular table. X means it will check it is true or false. Now, whenever this query will execute, I am doing F6. Now you can see we got the SAI sub RC4. Now, if SAI sub RC4, we got the error message. And see, we have not bring anything onto the application layer. We just check. And now you can see the variable. This variable is blank. This variable is blank. So you can write rather than SAI sub RC not equal to 0. You can check based upon variable also. If LV underscore exist is initial or space. Space means we got the false result. Now we got this. Now suppose I am maintaining that data. I will go for new entries. I will go for R Mehta. I will go for save. Now I will again run this particular program. Add selection screen event will trigger. Now it will check into this table. Whatever the input you are passing, it is true or false. It is true. So I will simply execute and you can see LV exist is X. So you can write the logic based upon LV underscore exist also. No problem. Now size sub RC 0. Now it will go to start of selection and it is bringing data and we got the expected output. So rather than this, you can write based upon this also. If LV underscore exists is initial. It is totally your wish how you want to do. So I will simply comment this. And now I will check the syntax. So what is the summary of this particular video? Important from the interview perspective also, because now we see the effective use of literal. Previously, we are always bringing the data onto the application layer, but we are not at all using that data. Suppose if I am going for write entry, data will come into internal table, work area, yes, but we are not using that data. So there must be some provision which will only tell us that it is true or false. So what we have done, we have used the literals. I have written select single X from table and I put some variable based upon the input. X means true. So if it is true, we will get the X into this variable. If it is false, we will get the space into this particular variable. So what I have done, firstly, I have shown you everything through old way. I explained everything in the debugging mode by old way. Then I have chosen the new way and showed you the expected output. In the next videos, we will go for new features of OpenSQL. So that's it in this video. Thank you.